Ever since Lonzo Ball decided to disassociate himself from the Big Baller Brand, we know that Lonzo Ball is trying to become his own man. We know that he covered up the Big Baller Brand tattoo by having dice put on instead of getting rid of that tattoo for his brothers 2 and 3 to symbolize Jello and Melo. And we know that Alan Foster took $1.5 million, let me repeat that again, $1.5 million from Lonzo Ball's bank account when the taxes were going due and they were trying to figure stuff out. But that's neither here nor there. The case now is the fact that $1.5 million is stolen, and it is determined that Lonzo Ball wants to get that money back. In this episode, we're going to be talking about 2 stories from the Ball family, so let's start with the first one. Obviously, I just talked about it, and that's of course that Lonzo Ball is going to be suing Alan Foster. We know that Alan Foster is a guy that was a family friend of LaVar Ball, and also the son was a family friend of Lonzo Ball since they were in middle school. We know how much they mean to each other, and the fact that they decided to give Alan Foster a second chance is a great thing. But at the same time, you have to do your background checks and you have to know who you're working with, and obviously they did not do that, and LaVar did not do his homework, they did not do his due diligence, and when they created the company, they found out that he was stealing money from them. And who knows, he probably could have been stealing money this whole time and no one even know about it. And the fact that you were thinking I could get away with stealing 1.5 million, that's not going to be the case, because we know that Lonzo Ball could have made at least $15 million signing with Nike or Adidas or whatever school that he wanted to sign for. So the real question is going to be, how much money is Lonzo Ball going to get back from this lawsuit? We know that he's probably not going to get a lot of money due to this lawsuit, but I think it's the pride thing. It's the fact that he's trying to make sure that no one else gets screwed over by Alan Foster again. And I'm glad that that's happening, because if we see that Alan Foster is going to be doing this to Lonzo Ball and a family friend, imagine if he does this to a person who doesn't have any idea who he is, and he just talks nice. He's a sweet talker. He's got his barter skills are up, his speech skills are up if you're using a Fallout reference. But this guy obviously has the ability to get people going and get people to involve in a company. And the great thing is the fact that they are not allowing this stuff to happen, and they have decided, you know what, we're gonna sue you. Hopefully we get some of the money back, but this is more of a pride thing and making sure that this guy doesn't do it to anybody else. Now, the next story that we have to talk about is one dealing with the youngest brother, Lamelo Ball. We know that Lamelo Ball just finished his high school career a couple weeks ago, and it's all gone array, right? We've seen the things where he won a state title in Chino Hills with his brother Lonzo. We saw that he was going to be the next big thing. He wanted to win another state championship in high school, but instead he was brought over to Lithuania to play the game along with his brother Jello after Jello got caught stealing at UCLA when they were on a trip to China. This led to a whole ordeal, and it led to a lot of us thinking, why would you take the third brother out of Chino Hills, or why would you take the third brother out of the country to play pro basketball, when obviously the fact that there's better talent here in the States rather than in Lithuania? I understand that in Lithuania those guys are men, but this is like going to the YMCA and playing against scrubs instead of playing against the best competition in the Drew League. That's what the difference is in this whole situation. So the fact that Lamelo Ball has been getting this treatment throughout his whole career, it's no wonder why a lot of scouts, when they watch him play, they love his offensive ability, but his defensive ability, the motor is just not there, because it never existed, because they never worked on getting that motor going. And I think that if he would have stayed at Chino Hills, or at least stay in the high school system, I think that would have happened. But this is the biggest situation, as we see that LaVar Ball is now saying that Lamelo Ball will be playing next year overseas. Instead of going to the G League, instead of playing again in the JBA or JBL, whatever, the Big Baller Brand League, instead of doing all that stuff, he wants to take his son overseas again, to China or Australia. And my whole thing is, that's not even remotely where you want to take your son. I'm sorry. You want to take him to the G League. I understand that you're afraid that he'll get exposed on defense, because obviously in the G League, those guys are hungry. Those guys have been in the league and have gone out, and they're trying to get back in again. This is a scratch and claw. This is someone that's trying to get into the league. That's where the G League comes in play. But now we're seeing that LaVar Ball just doesn't want to deal with that and just says, you know what, we'll just play in China, we'll go play in Australia. And I'm just thinking to myself, LaVar Ball, you've already made these horrible decisions. You know that the Lonzo Ball story came out. This is another one where I talked about it. I've said it numerous times when LaVar Ball took his sons out of high school and went to Lithuania. I said that was a terrible idea, because he's not getting the proper training, he's not getting the proper work ethic installed in him that you get when you're in the States. Obviously in Lithuania, yes, you are a superstar, you're talented, you can make your Ball in the Family TV show, but when it comes to Lamelo Ball's playoff or basketball experience, basketball career. You want to do what's best for him and what's going to get him better. And I just think that, you know, if it was Lamelo Ball's choice, I think he would have stayed at Chino Hills. I think he would have stayed in high school. Whether he would have went to a different school in the Chino Hills area, he would have stayed. And the fact that they just don't, LaVar Ball just doesn't listen to his sons, or doesn't let his sons make the mistakes. That's my whole issue with LaVar Ball. And the reason why, you know, I can defend him for numerous amount of things, this one I can't defend him. Because to me, when you take your son out of high school, when you take your son and don't let him make his own mistakes and his own decisions and let him do his own thing, you're not preparing him for the real world, because you're coddling him, you're spoiling him, you're giving him an outlet to not be the guy that he should be, right? I mean, it's the reason why, you know, you said you didn't like tattoos, and then you see all of your sons basically get tattoos. And the fact that that happened is because you've been saying no, you've been pushing back. You just have to let them make their mistakes, let them make their choices. I'm sure if it was Jello's decision on whether or not to stay at UCLA or leave UCLA, he would have stayed at UCLA, taken the punishment, and then been on this team this year. And of course, this led to a coach getting fired, the former UCLA coach, Walford, I don't even know how you, Steve, I think is his first name. But the fact that you let him to get fired, that to me is the whole ordeal. Like, that to me is the biggest, why are you doing this? Because I think Lamelo Ball, in my opinion, has the ability to at least get to the NBA. But the fact that you're making it more difficult by saying, nope, he's going to play overseas, he's not playing in the G League, just let him at least toughen up. Because I think that this would be the perfect opportunity for Lamelo Ball to get tougher and to get stronger and to become a better defender. Because that's the one thing that people have knocked Lamelo Ball for, is his defense. And I think that if he was able to stay in America, working his game in the G League, I think that that would be a better decision than to just send him out to go to China and play in Australia. But anyway, guys, I want to know your guys' opinion on the whole situations. We have two stories, of course, that we talked about today for Ball news, and that's, of course, the Lonzo Ball news and the fact that he is suing Alan Foster and the Big Baller Brand to make sure that he gets some of his money back. But I think this is more of a power move to say that he will not do this to anybody else again. And also, let me know what you think about Lamelo Ball playing overseas instead of playing in the G League, or even in college if there was some way to do it. Do you guys think that Lamelo Ball is going to be fine in the NBA, or do you guys think that his path is already over because of LaVar Ball? I would love to know your guys' comments and opinions in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, this has been your boy Bernie here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Also, remember to hit that notification bell so you don't miss our NBA video topics talking about Trae Young, Luka Doncic, John Morant, Zion Williamson, and many other basketball superstars. Like I said, you gotta hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.